Hey, what's up, guys? We are live. Today, we are going to do some live sourcing. So I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be fun. Probably going to be re-explaining this a couple times, but basically what we're doing is we are storefront stocking from a product that people have sold profitably in the past. And then we're going to take a look at the storefronts from there. And then from there, we'll check eBay to see if any happen to be available. And I'll be explaining how you can snipe those deals and actually make profitable purchases. So this is the product that we're going to start with. I found this by storefront stocking someone else. It's just a good starting example. It's basically an electronic that it's a little lower volume, but there's still some profit to be made there. Used prime, it's selling anywhere in the ballpark of, I think, $50 to $60. This person has buy box at around $60. So we have here that if we were to sell this at $50 and purchase it at $29, it would be around 33% ROI. Oh, and I'm not even sharing the screen, so let's share the screen. What's up, Christiana? Good to see you. Hope you have a good session soon and that she's not too late. But yeah, I'm going to share the screen and explain all that again so it actually makes sense. All right, so we're here. We have this Apple Airport Extreme router. It's in electronics. Seller amp is saying private label, but there's consistently around 9 sellers on it. So it's definitely not private label. And I mean, it's an Apple product, so it's not private label. We see here that the buy box is very close to $60 total, and they're merch fulfilled. So the very lowest is $50. So I have $50 in here, but let's be honest, if we come in FBA, we'll be able to sell for $60. So I also entered this model number into eBay. And what I do to get evidence that people are actually selling this for profit is I type all the information in here, and then I filter. And if you don't know how to do this, go on the left, go all the way down, and click sold listings. And then from there, you'll get to see the entire history of this item selling. And so what I did, just to see if there were any that were being sold for a reasonable price, and a reasonable price would probably be anything under $37 would probably be reasonable. Earlier, I found one at $29. So basically, we take a look here and we see this is the same model because no, it's 1521. We can go to the Amazon page and Control F and then type 1521. And people are saying, yes, this is the 1521. So we have confirmation there, even though it's also this. So this one, if we get our calculator out, it's 579 plus 1830. And that was an auction, and that comes out to 2409. So that person, when they purchased this, whenever they got the sale on Amazon, if they were Amazon sellers and they sold for 60, they made $23 profit. And there's lots of other sales here that show that people are getting this for under $30. Good afternoon, RW. Good to see you. But yeah, so basically this is how we got to this product. And then from here, if we want to try to find some other profitable products that we can be on the lookout for, we would go into the stack of sellers and we would take a look at anyone else who is selling this as used. also, to be completely honest, if you wanted to sell this new, there's probably space to do that. So yeah, that might actually be a good idea. You have to see who's on the listing as new. I've seen this guy before. Yeah, I'm actually curious. So if we click out, and then just filter by new, it looks like there's a lot less new sellers on this. There's only 2, and there's 281 used ones. So this is brand new. They're saying open box. I wouldn't count that as new. But what is this? It looks like the same picture. Open box. So I'm not down to sell an open box item as new, but you guys can be my guest if you want to try it. But anyways, we're going to go back to what we were doing. We want to see if there's any that meets our criteria. And I'm not going to be purchasing any of these. Well, maybe I will if I get really convinced. If you guys want to purchase them, you can. But basically, we're looking for anything that is under $37. If you want a 30% ROI, that's like the minimum for me. So right here, we see this is parts only. We don't like that. This auction is ending in like 2 hours. So potentially in 2 hours, you could watch that and try and bid on that if you wanted to. This one, so it's 23 plus 11.75. So that's $35, which would be $12 profit, 36% ROI. There are 12 people selling this. And in the last 3 months, it looks like there's random streaks and then no sales, random streaks, and then no sales for a few days. Over the course of this month, it sold once, twice, 3 times. So if you price competitively, you could probably get a sale in a month. But yeah, so this is a bit slower of an item. For something slower, I would probably want a higher ROI. But you would still make money on this because it would probably sell within a couple months. Did you check free shipping on those? Prices might be less. It's a good point. What I did do, though, is I filtered by price plus shipping, lowest first. So it basically filters including the shipping. So yeah, the best way if you want to find this at a really good deal is, now that we've kind of searched through the ones that are available, if we want to come back every day or so and filter this search by newly listed, then we get to see the freshest stuff that has just gotten posted. And so in this case, there's nothing that meets our buying criteria. But in the case where someone just wants to get rid of this and lists it for $23, we see theirs first off, and we are able to pick that up for a profit. So from here, we're going to go into this stack of sellers, and we're going to pick one of these people to storefront stock from. So I'm seeing this guy as a prime guy, 43 ratings. So he's making some sales, probably making some money. Somehow this guy got 10 of them, and they're used very good. So usually when doing regular online arbitrage sourcing, the way that you would want to storefront stock is by going into 𝗬𝗰 and then scrolling down and looking at all the offers. But in the case of 𝗬𝗰, they are only showing the new people who are selling this. So we may not even source from this person because it looks like he was selling this new and then he's selling one very good, which means cumulative 10. We might just take a look at his storefront anyways. I was thinking maybe he was selling his returns. But 𝗬𝗰 isn't showing the used offers. So we're just going to storefront stock just based off their storefront. And RW is saying, I missed the beginning, and what made you look for those items? So basically this was just an example product to get us started. It's just an example product of something that's used, that sells for profit, that we can just get started and looking at from. We just basically want a launch pad in order to do some storefront stocking for stuff that we would purchase from eBay to sell on Amazon. So basically the idea is that we find items like this, hopefully faster, because this is, I'm not sharing my screen, but hopefully faster than this 135K in electronics. We would put them in a spreadsheet, and then from there on a regular basis, we would search for them by newly listed, whether on eBay, whether on Mercari, whether on Facebook Marketplace. And we would pick up the ones that are recently listed. So if it's something that has a lot of listings and it often sells within the price parameter that we're looking for, that's a really big advantage. But if it rarely sells for the price that we're looking for, it makes it quite a bit harder. So we're going to see what we can find in some of these other seller storefronts. And if you guys have questions along the way or curious about something, just let me know and I'll come back to you. So we're going to go in here. Like we said before, this guy is selling a new one. So it's possible that he's not selling used from eBay to Amazon, but we're just going to take a look and just see. And, oh, interesting. This person's impassioned by Apple's design philosophy. So this guy really likes, oh, like literally he has it in his title. All right, we'll see how this is. Now, I've never seen this before. It's a Litecoin miner. Wow. I'm just curious about this. It's not showing a sales rank, so maybe it's like extremely low sales rank. Expensive item here. Unless he just has it up super high. Just waiting for 𝗬𝗰 to load because it's very slow for me sometimes. Yeah, so it's showing a rank of unknown, which is interesting. 955 in computer power supplies. So it looks like one of those categories that isn't a regular category. But there's 23 people listing this. I mean, if you could find the source to this could be something that you could test by. It does sketch me out that there's not a regular a regular sales rank. And then also this isn't the best sign. If you look down here, seeing that there's just this huge increase of sellers. The fact that it went down a little bit is great, but yeah, like a 𝗬𝗂 graph that seems to just go up and up and up like that is not my favorite. So we're going to pass. Fahar, welcome. Good to see you. We're in this guy's storefront just to fill you in and any other people who have come in the chat recently. We started by looking at this Apple Airport Extreme router, and this is an electronic that people have almost for sure purchased and sold on Amazon. People are selling this anywhere between 50 and probably, I think I looked and there were some people selling this for, yeah, I mean, we'll see how many sales these people are getting, but probably high point 60 to 70 bucks. So if we were to sell this for 60 and purchase this, if we take a look at the history, and filter by lowest, people have sold this for under $30. And if they were to purchase for $30, they would have made $17.59% ROI. This item in particular probably would take 1 to 2 months to sell if you had one. And Fahar is saying, Apple is not a danger brand to sell, bro. And that's a good point. But it looks like this is something that's discontinued and is therefore an older model. We see here that there's a very consistent amount of sellers on this listing. And so if it was a dangerous brand to be selling on or a dangerous listing to be selling on, you would see down spikes of sellers. And this does go up and down a little bit, but it's never so drastic. Like there's always a certain amount of sellers on this listing for the last 2 years almost. Like we see that the very lowest is 4 used sellers and 2 new sellers. And so in my opinion, this looks pretty safe to sell. But if you see that there's huge drop-offs where it goes back down to 1 seller, that's where I would be cautious. That's a really good question though. And we took a look at this person's storefront. We went in here and there's this guy in who's selling this. We're taking a look at his store and we saw that there is a Litecoin miner, which is pretty interesting. The 𝗬𝗂 did not look good for that one. As we see here, if you can see in the bottom right, when you hover over with the 𝗬𝗂 Chrome extension, that the price just goes down and down and down, unfortunately, with the crypto crash. So this is the item that we were looking at. And this person is selling both the new and the used. So this is something, 𝗬𝗰𝗶𝗹 Airport Express. So maybe. Just looking at the 𝗬𝗂, like I'm not that excited about it because you can just see that there's not many sales. Like it gets a sale every once in a while, but really not that excited about it. And does this person only have 3 products? He has 3 products. What? That is nuts. This guy has 3 products. I've never seen that. Well, I have seen that before. All right. We'll take a look at some other sellers. So the model that I do most of the time is I sell used eBay to Amazon because there's just less risk of issues. Because let's say I purchase something that a seller says is new and it's actually been used and is not in good condition, that just creates more trouble for me. So what I've been doing the last several months is selling mostly used, although you can sell new as well. But for now, we're just doing used stuff. So we'll take a look at this guy. Amazing deals for you. 218 feedback. See if he's selling new as well. It looks like he's not. Okay. So we're going to take a look at him. A mining PSU. Yeah, it looks like that's for mining Litecoin or something. I remember investing in Litecoin several years ago, and thankfully I broke even. But yeah, with this Bitcoin and crypto mining or crypto crash, it's you could see the 𝗬𝗶𝗶 is just going down and down and down, and the used offer count going up and up and up, which is a really bad sign when you're trying to sell stuff. So it's just very interesting seeing. I've never seen a crypto miner before on Amazon. This guy only has 18 feedback. Oh, so this guy's been selling a long time. 218 lifetime feedback. But in the last 12 months, he has 18. So we'll see how this guy is. Probably doesn't do too much volume. He has 178. These are all his brands. From personal experience, I know that almost for sure there's something good in here. But we'll take a look at this. So bows. I haven't sold much bows before, but I'm going to take a look into it. One thing that I do like about this is if we go over the 𝗬𝗶𝗶, although Amazon is in stock by the yellow or beige, by the yellow, there is a used offer and it's consistently on there for under $100 less than what the Amazon and the new offer is. So even though Amazon's on this listing selling it as new, you can still get sales as used just because your price is so much lower. So I'm interested in this one. Also, though, just a general tip for storefront stocking for these items. When you're looking at the very top of someone's storefront, the very first several items are their very fastest selling items, or at least Amazon's algorithm calls it that. So if this sells extremely quickly, there also may be less of a chance that we can find it successfully on eBay at a profitable price. So we just got to keep that in mind. We'll take the risk and see. So I'm restricted in this. Get this at Walmart for $269. Wow, 12,000%. Just kidding. So 24% for just being unrestricted on this. Interesting. And we're also seeing IP issues with this. So we'd have to check if the brand is on it. But most likely I'm going to be restricted in this. Yeah, so I think I'm restricted in this. Can we resell bulk Kirkland items? Yeah, I've never done that before, but probably. You probably could, yeah. It's a good question. So we do see here that there's a lot a lot less new sellers than used sellers. And so I'm assuming that restriction is for new items. So I'm going to take a look at that. I'm going to stop the screen share for just 1 second and see what it tells me. So when I click restricted, it tells me I can sell it used, but not new. So that's good to know. Sometimes there is, when it says restricted, you can sell the new item or the used item, but not the new item. And RW is saying, I've sold Kirkland items, a lot of sellers in that market. So that's interesting. Yeah, it's, I think it's not like that high quality of a brand. I don't know. Isn't that like Costco or Sam's Club or something? But anyways, taking a look at this, I mean, there's so many sellers on this, or there's been a big history of sellers on this. I should share my screen again. Yeah. So looking at the 𝗬𝗶𝗶, there's just been sellers on this for ages and ages. So sometimes if I'm kind of confused about this rank, like what is that rank? Because that's not a regular category. I take a look and see if there's other experienced sellers on this listing. So this person has 257. This person has 419. This person's a little bit newer, sort of. This person has a lot. So there's a good amount of people like selling this product, which makes me feel safer selling this. Because the seller amp does say IP. But the interesting thing about the seller amp alerts and IP alert is that if one product of the whole Bose line gives an IP complaint and that gets reported, then the entire brand, all the ASINs, get shown as known to have IP issues. So sometimes this is just not very accurate. And the better way to look at this is to, number one, look at the brand and see if the brand is selling this. And then number two, look at the sellers and see if there is a consistent amount of sellers that continue to be on this listing. I don't love seeing this drop from 25 sellers to 15, but still at the very least, there were 15 people that were on this. So that checks out. That feels decently safe. I'd take a look and see if the brand is on this. They would probably be selling it as new. So Amazon has 20,286. Adorama is a beast. He has 27. This guy's massive. Look at that feedback. Cheap Costco items. Yeah. I think that isn't that their brand? Like kind of like the store brand that they sell in the store. So yeah, I'm not seeing the brand on this. Yeah. So if we can get this profitably, for, I guess we need to take a look and see what prime would be, like a prime used offer. So like 275 or 290. We'll just call it 285. So we need to find out what our buy cost is going to be. So 210 maybe. Not enough. So yeah, if we were going to do 30%, we would need to source this at 190. So one thing we can do is just go back to eBay, clear this out. So Rev Seller is telling me the model number. I'm curious if there's another place. Headphone 700. That's such a weird. Oh, here we go. Bose. Noise canceling headphones. So we're going to see if there's a history of people selling this item for the right price. Box only. Oh, no way. 70 bucks. Goodness. 80 bucks, 90 bucks. So, I mean, these are pretty uncommon to be selling for this little, but goodness, you get this for 70 bucks. Goodness, that is a full day's work right there, if you're able to find that. So we're going to see, we see that there's actually a good amount of these that sell for under that 190, which is, this is actually quite a good item. So if you guys want free money and you made it this far in the video, if you search this by newly listed a couple times a day, probably, you could very well get lucky. But I'm going to see what is available right now. So we have an auction for 125, auction, no charger, no ear pads. Are you nuts? No ear pads. There's no way. That is a mad customer waiting to happen. Must read below. So when they say must read below, you better read below, because there's probably something they want to tell you. All right. You will only receive what's in the picture. No charger, cords, box, or accessories. I'm going to put this over here so I can actually understand what's going on. They're missing the ear pads. That is not okay. Who listens to music without the ear pads? But I mean, if you just really want to, if you really want to risk it, you could purchase those. Working silver. These are black. Black. Ooh, this is pretty good. Yep. So that looks pretty good. Is there anything about this? I might even buy this. So let's take a look at the 𝗬𝗶𝗶 before we just jump to conclusions. Very possible it won't be there by the time we look at 𝗬𝗶𝗶. We see here 255 is the used good, 285 is the used like new. We also have prime, so we're going to be more on that high end. So I think 280 is a pretty, 280, 285 is pretty reasonable. So this is 180, $68 profit, 38% ROI. So this is pretty good, I think. I've been trying to spend less money, but these are pretty good. So we even see someone else is sending them an offer. Yeah. So, I mean, these are profitable as it stands. But like I usually go for 40%. I mean, this is $68. You had to hear me deliberate about whether I want to purchase this for myself or not. It's a free $150. Yeah, I mean, well, it's more like a free $100, but yeah. So yeah, I think I'm gonna actually give this a shot. Yeah. I don't want to purchase on stream though, because all of my information will show, but I'm going to add this to the cart and then stop sharing the screen. But yeah, that actually went extremely smoothly. We found a product very quickly, but that's kind of an example of how sourcing eBay to Amazon can go. Ideally, the way that I would do this is I would, let me share my screen again. If you felt like this Apple thing was a good product, and it would be if it sold a little faster, I would add all this information to a spreadsheet. And then I would also add all the information of this and anything else we found in this person's store that looks like it has an eBay market into a document. And then I would search by newly listed on a regular basis. That's how I would do it to find items like that. So yeah, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I think I'm going to purchase this. Make sure it's not. My eBay recently shifted to make it send to my house, and I do a prep center, so that is a no-go. I think I'm having some random stuff sent to my house instead of the prep center, which I am not happy about. So I zoomed in so you can't see my address, but I did go ahead and purchase this for $180. Yep. So I think that's a good buy. It's a good test buy. I kind of have no clue how many are going to sell per month, but it looks like a pretty fast item. So I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I mean, going into here, sharing my screen again. Going into here again, we purchased for $180. The plan is to sell somewhere between $280 and $290. So at the very minimum, we're going to make $64 profits. So I would definitely say that was a successful live stream. Glad to make some money with you guys. If you guys see this in the next like day or so, feel free to check eBay by newly listed and maybe send some offers, and people will probably accept. You could be on the listing as well. But yeah, hope this is helpful for you guys. And if this was helpful, then feel free to subscribe. It really helps me out. Hope you have a great rest of the day and take care.